Welcome to the Unstoppable Profit Podcast. This podcast will give independent insurance agents all of the tools to grow your business and live life on your terms. Wherever you are today, if you're starting with nothing or well on your way to the success you desire, with the right people, processes, and promotions in place, you will be unstoppable. And now I'd like to introduce your host, Mike Stromsoe.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the Unstoppable Profit Podcast. I am pumped and excited, but I'm going to start today's podcast with a question. Are you sick and tired of your comparative rating system handcuffing your team members and monopolizing their time? If your answer to that question is yes, you're in the right place, and you're going to want to pay close attention to what we have for you on today's podcast. I am proud and excited to introduce and bring to you Cyrus Jaffery and Ahmad Jaffery to the podcast. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you for having us here.
Don't everybody speak at once. But anyway, guys, I had the chance to connect with you recently and found out about what you guys are doing. And you've got a deep history in the industry. And I want to pull a little bit about that out of you. But you've created a product which is going to answer that question in a big way for the industry, because you guys love the industry just like I do. And all we want to do is help agents be better, grow, and be more profitable.
100%.
Because you've already, laid the path. So we'll start with Cyrus. Cyrus, if anybody's never heard of Cyrus Jaffery, Cyrus, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we'll go to Ahmad.
Yeah, great question. So Cyrus Jaffery, man, I'm first and foremost, I'm a family guy. I've got 3 kids, 6, 4, and 2. That's the most important thing. I talk about this all the time. If at the end of the day, whether I have $1 billion or 3 kids that are good human beings, it's by no questions. It's definitely the 3 kids that are good human beings. So that's my number one job as a dad. Been in the industry for 10 years. I was a State Farm agent for 6. We're the 30th, the best in the country on the fire side, which is more homeowners insurance side for the State Farm world. Had a lot of success, but as you said, man, nobody likes to be handcuffed, just like your rater. And I'm one of those guys that I kind of want to fly, man. I want to fly. I don't want to be somebody holding me down, and I want to go accomplish a lot of things. My life mission became to help 1 million people in some shape or form. And for that to happen, whether it's through nonprofit insurance or with my kids or other things in the community, that kind of became my mission. So 4 years on the independent channel. And these 4 years have been so much fun. It started with, I just want to open up a Jaffery insurance agency in Omaha, Nebraska. Now it's turned into so much more that we will talk about, but so exciting, man. I'm really excited. We're about 100 people in our organization in 4 years. We started with 3, and we have about 30 different states is where we're in as well. We got a bunch of different verticals that we will talk about.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Ahmad, I found out in getting to know Ahmad better, he and I have something very close to our hearts in common.
Absolutely. When I pick up a book, I have a hard time putting it down.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Books have always been a great asset for me to learn from. I'm continuously reading, enhancing my mindset, and just to become a better person at that point. So a little backstory, my undergrad was in creative writing, focusing on poetry at that point. Ahmad Jaffery here, co-founder of Quotamation, also the president of operations for Cyrus's entities at that point. My background, I've been working with Cyrus for about 5 years now. Before I worked in the insurance business, I worked for LinkedIn. And previous to that, I worked at Apple. I truly enjoy traveling, and I truly love making a difference in people's lives. And that's why I'm here today.
Awesome. And Cyrus and Ahmad are teammates in all of their entities. In addition to that, Cyrus, because of his humble nature, didn't really mention this, but he's got 5 verticals that he participates in currently simultaneously. So to say he doesn't have opportunity when he gets out of bed every day, that's not a true statement. He's got nothing but opportunity. But what we want to talk about today is the answer to that question that I asked you about, are you sick and tired of your comparative rating system handcuffing your team and monopolizing their time. They are creating a platform and a vertical to help agents with that. And we want to share everything we can about that in the time that we have together today, because I've gone through this with them. They've led me through it. And I said, it was one of those OMG moments, if you can understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to let them take it away, and probably be a good idea just to seed the conversation. We do this from time to time on the podcast, give people a visual, because remember, when people hear, they learn, but when they hear and they see, they understand. And we want to give everybody the opportunity to come to a place of understanding. So Ahmad, go ahead and take it away. Go ahead and bring up the share and just walk people through a little bit about Quotamation, and then we'll dive in and figure out, you can share about your vision for the future of Quotamation.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
Beautiful.
Yep. So with Quotamation, we've built an opportunity to streamline the home and auto process here. Through our site, go in and click on agent login. That allows you to go directly to your profile. From here, Ahmad. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go to it, Mike, is it okay if I just share why we built it?
Yeah, please do.
Into that? Okay.
Please do. Yeah.
This is a good time before we get rolling. So when I left 4 years ago, everyone, we came from State Farm, and not that State Farm had the best systems or processes, but you can get a quote in 20 minutes, 25 minutes, know exactly if that client, get a bunch of information from them. But when we came on the independent channel, man, what you don't realize, and we went on our own, so we had direct contracts, we didn't get any help. We had to figure everything out ourselves. And that first 2 years, one of the biggest issues everybody we hired, they were saying was like, man, like, I just wish this quoting process would be easier, because you were literally taking 2 to 4 hours of just data gathering, and then also putting it in a bunch of different places and going to this place and that place and that place and that place. And it was just a nightmare, man. Like, when you get people from one place, when you come into work, you're supposed to just log into one place, go through your process. It's just so efficient. But that efficiency did not exist in the independent channel. So that was our biggest headache. And I had that in the back of my mind. So as we started coming up with some verticals, and in 2023, we had to do 30,000 quotes. I was talking to Ahmad 2 years ago. I'm like, Ahmad, man, like, this is really going to hold us back from us achieving what we want to achieve. Like, if we want to 10x our revenue, there is no way we can do that without hiring either 50 new insurance agents. And if anybody knows, you do not want to handle 50 insurance agents on the day-to-day. Or we got to find a way to solve this problem, because this is a problem that nobody has figured it out. Because I reached out to everybody. Hey, yeah, there's the forms here. There's this here. I can pull this data. I can take it to here. There's an integration here. But there's nothing that does it all into one place to efficiently make the customer experience for a personalized person super, super, super friendly. And that became our vision. Was, I don't want a guy that calls me to ask for their VIN numbers, for their driver's license numbers, and their for house square footage. Honestly, nobody knows that information. And there's no reason to ask a person, because when you go to Goosehead or Lemonade or some of these big Matic or some of these big giant Zebra, all that stuff pops up, and you just have to say, agree, agree, agree. And there is a reason their systems are so efficient, is because they have technology. Independent agents, we don't have technology. Individual carriers have technology. You could go to Nationwide Express, you could go to Travelers, pull all the data, but then you got to go do that in 20 different carriers. Does not sound like something I wanted to be a part of. That's not how I wanted to scale. And quite frankly, I do not want to handle 50 insurance agents on a day-to-day basis and keep them accountable, right? So I just wanted to give you a gist of like why it all, and that's the biggest issue right now in our industry today, is simplifying the data gathering, and then also getting a quote out to a consumer, a lender, a real estate agent, a referral partner, or a bank, or whoever you're working with.
I think that was a great ad. Thank you, Cyrus, for bringing that up. And feel free, if you got anything to add at any point from either of you, please chime in. But from a vision standpoint, great vision, and I love that. What I also thought about when I was listening to Cyrus, yeah, Lemonade, Zebra, the rest of them, Hippo, whoever else out there, they've got the tech platform, but they don't have any expertise and relationship built in. So what you guys are doing, you're bringing that tech platform, and we're going to find out more about it in just a second, along with the relationship aspect and the expertise and the independent insurance agent who cares and serves you, the consumer, first.
Absolutely. I would say the independent agent is what we believe in. When we're talking to all these big tech companies about their product team, because they're learning about us, they want to know about us and acquire about us, whatever. And we're telling them, well, listen, man, you guys are direct to consumer. Like, I love you guys, but like, there is no relationship there. We believe in the agency model. We love independent agents. We want to give the same technology that all these tech companies have. We want to give the independent agents this. The agent in Norfolk, Nebraska, a town of 3,000 people, they should be able to have the same tech platform that your lemonades and your zebras, because why not? They should be able to, because that's what's going to make our independent industry better. And that's what our mission is, to make it easier, simpler, and efficient and profitable.
Well, and you're lending something to the industry, because the carriers will be the first to tell you. Independent insurance agents write the most profitable business because of the upfront underwriting aspect and everything surrounding it. They can't do it. Nobody else can do it. Only us agents can do it. And now you're blending the best of the best into our world, which is going to help us. Love that.
Yeah. And their retention, if you know some of these companies, guys, like, their retention is awful. Independent agencies, that's why the carriers love independent agents, is because, guys, we can keep 85% of our clients year after year. Dude, if they keep 20, 30, 40%, some of the big ones after 2 years, it's a big win for those. So carriers hate that, because they come in, put a couple of claims in, move on, because there is no education piece. So I feel like our industry trending towards the independent agent, we're just making it better by giving them technology so they can stick around for a long time. Because, to quite be honest, man, a lot of people want to leave independent agency because there's so much going on with, obviously, the weather pattern, the state of personal lines, and technology has gotten so much harder for a lot of your older folks. Maybe we're hoping to simplifies it, so keep those people around so we can grow and learn from those people. Because, man, some people that have been in it for 20, 30 years, there's so much knowledge that those people have that we want to learn from young agents.
And we're only better together. We've got to stay together as an industry and collaborate to help each other.
Absolutely.
And I love that thought process. All right. You guys ready to go, or?
Absolutely.
Ahmad, take it away, bud.
Beautiful. So we're going to start out. Our workflow has 3 different options: home quote, home and auto quote, or standalone auto quote. Obviously, home and auto, you get the most amount of savings, so we highly recommend that. Let's go ahead and get started here. Our UI is very simplified to get the least amount of information necessary to provide the best amount of quotes at that point. So I'm going to start out with an address, and we'll use Cyrus as an example. So once you put in an address,
don't you guys be showing on my house.
We'll blur those out, hopefully. So pretty much brings up all the data that we need right now, right? So from the county assessors, year build, square footage, stories, whether the basement was finished or unfinished, how much the replacement cost of this property is going to be. As we all know, roofs are very important. So that's one of the things we would like to ask our clients. Hey, how old is the roof at that point? So let's just assume it's 1 to 5 years.
I want to add right there, Ahmad, that the replacement cost, it hit CoreLogic. Right now, it's EasyLinks, and CoreLogic is used by most of the main carriers. So that replacement cost, it's not just randomly gave you a replacement cost. It's a pretty accurate replacement cost from the carriers' websites that they use. CoreLogic, you can go inside of the carriers and change some things, but we have found out with our beta testing the last 6 months that it's extremely accurate of what that replacement cost and dwelling cost would come out.
Yeah, and I asked the other day when I was taking a look at this with you guys, can that be adjusted based on need? And you said absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, if you want to increase the coverage, let's just say you want to go up to $780,000, you can just add it there, kind of move forward from at that point. All right, so we're going to go ahead and press next here. So we have 2 workflows. Our first workflow is if somebody is buying a new home. If you press yes, it will ask you for your current address, so we can pull current information from the household. If this is an existing home, you're just going to go ahead and press next. And here's where I'm going to ask the client's information. So we'll use Cyrus.
And based on our data, guys, we figured out that you should only ask the client information that you would think 100% they have. That's the only information you'll have them, right? They have their date of birth, they have their name, and then they have their, obviously, sex, email and phone number, and then their wife's information potentially that we will pull up anyway. So we want the consumer, make it super consumer friendly, super agent friendly, to where the only piece of information is stuff that you honestly, if you don't know your date of birth, I probably don't want you as a client.
There you go.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and press next here. Once we put in that information, all the registered drivers in the household in the past couple of years will pull up. So I know Sarah and Sarah, they're previous owners of the home. Since Cyrus just moved in last year, I'm going to go ahead and remove them. And most of the time, the date of birth purse, but sometimes if the data is not there, it will ask you to put in this information.
So it's a very flexible system.
Absolutely. So from here, we're going to go ahead and press next. And all the vehicles, along with the VIN numbers registered to that address, are going to pull up. So I know Cyrus has a 2016 Tahoe and a 2011 Ford. I'm going to go ahead and remove this vehicle. And what's nice about this workflow is when we're getting calls from our clients, we are confirming with them that they have these vehicles and these are the drivers in the household, instead of asking, hey, what's your VIN number? So the conversation is a lot more streamlined for our agents in our office as well, because we're just like, hey, 2016 Tahoe, 2011 Ford, awesome. Let's go on to the next page.
And it gives you the opportunity to build relationship right there.
Absolutely.
Because you're not focusing on the data, you're focusing on the relationship.
Which honestly, when a consumer calls you, and again, we've done so much research on some of this stuff, when a consumer calls you, they are going to buy at a 90% rate if you get them something they like right there. As you get them off the phone, that's going to go down to 70%, no matter whether they like it or not. And then as you wait a day or two, it goes down to 50%. So the faster you can get the client something that they like, that they need. Today, man, everybody wants things quick, fast. Like, I want to get it done, right? They don't want to wait 2 days. The worst thing you can do is clients call us all the time. Hey, I sent my agent my stuff. I'm waiting. He told me he'll get back to me in 3 days. I'm like, 3 days? Talk about customer experience. Be the change. Don't be that guy, man.
I love that.
Absolutely. And that was pretty much it. From there, I was able to break down quotes from multiple carriers that I want quoted at that point. So quick little overview. Looks like Travelers kind of breaks it down. Home policy, coverages, deductibles. Progressive was a second best at that point based on that information. And then some carriers did home only or auto only. And we're able to kind of see in the back end to kind of see there might be an underwriting issue that they didn't provide a home quote at that point. But from here, an agent, an experienced agent can get a good idea of where they're going to place this business at this point, because they understand, oh, Cyrus is this many years old. He has a home that's worth about $730,000. So I know Travelers is going to be my first option at that point. And also it looks like it's got great pricing to begin with. And if I click on Travelers here, it will take me directly to that specific quote at that point. Same thing with Progressive. These are all clickable links. So you don't have to go open up a new tab with Travelers and log in at that point. It should just, the whole flow should be like simplified to go click to click to click to get to that final quote at that point.
Hey, two things on that real quick. So as you know, personal lines world today, this is why this is so important today, is because you don't want to waste your time on the carriers that just don't want it. And you guys know that, because you don't want to waste your time, right? So we know that like Nationwide, Safeco, National General, and auto owners on this client today in the state of Nebraska, in my zip code, they really don't want this risk. So why waste 1 hour of your time messing around with the carriers that really don't want the risk? Waste your time on the top two that are good carriers that want this risk, and you can just click on it, go to that, bind the policy, move on with your life, basically, and use those 20 minutes, like you said, to build the relationship. Because we know that people buy on price, but honestly, people buy on relationship as well. Like if they have a good connection, there's so many times we sell $100 more policies based on value, because we come from State Farm. We know how to sell value, because you're not selling a cheaper policy there. So that's what this is going to do, is really going to get you in front of the carriers that truly want the risk. It's good for the carriers. Carriers are like, Cyrus, thank you for eliminating us from this, because we don't want that risk anyways. It's good for the agent because they're only wasting time on the ones that matter. And it's good for the consumer because they're like, okay, you got me something pretty quick. Awesome. Great job.
Yeah. And people do business with people they know, love, and trust.
100%.
And the money follows trust. But, I was talking with a platinum coaching member just yesterday. She got 2 new deals in a very difficult state right now, California, who's virtually does not have a lot of availability right now, but she was able to move it within a carrier because both those clients could not get a response from their agent. They had no depth of relationship. She was able to, and bigger than that, once she got into it, she found all the things she needed to correct coverage wise.
Wow.
And at that point, price was off the table. So what you're saying, Cyrus, is absolutely accurate. I mean,
yes.
People that value insurance want to be properly protected.
And the carriers, they're like, we don't want the risk, but we want the data. Why haven't you quoted me? Why haven't you quoted me? So this simplifies that to where, like, listen, man, we're giving you every quote. You're not hitting it. So you really can't be mad at me, right? Because you're not getting, because that was one of our biggest things was carriers, every carrier rep would come in. Hey, you got us 4,000 quotes this month. Last month you did 8,000 quotes or 400 or 500. We're like, now all that question is gone. We're going to give you a quote every time, Mr. Carrier. It's your job to hit the risk or not hit the risk. Our fiduciary responsibility is the client. If you're number 6 in our risk thing, you're not going to get it. But you at least got the data that you really want to keep my carrier appointment.
But the other powerful thing for agents using this system is, look, I started in sales, and if you were breathing, you had money, you needed insurance. In my early days, you were mine until I learned how to write good business, right? I can say, honestly, ethically, right there up front, hey, look, I've surveyed the top 5 carriers for you. Only two came back as the go-to carriers for your particular situation out of the top 5. Pause. When the consumer hears that, what are they thinking? Oh my gosh, that quickly they survey the top 5. I might be in a captive situation when they've only got one. If they can't help through the one, they don't have anything else. That's the value of an independent agent, right?
Yeah, because they still want you to shop them. Because if you tell them, you're almost like less salesy because you're like, hey, I shopped you with like 20 carriers. And agents say that all the time, but they really just went to one carrier, if you think about it, because they don't have the technology to be able to do it. And now you can truly say, or it took you 2 days to get to shopping them all the 20 carriers if you truly did it. But now you can truly say that. And they're like, wow, you're lying to me. Well, let me just show you my screen. Like, I'll send the proposal to you. I got all the carriers to do it.
100%. Would you like me to screenshot it right now and text it to you, or shall we share right this second? I've got it right here in front of me. That is huge credibility.
Absolutely.
Huge credibility. Come on.
Absolutely. So ultimately, now you have your quotes here. What I love about having it sync with your CRM system is one of the features that I truly enjoy, because now I'm eliminating the double entry aspect of it. So if you just click on open and easy links, that's our CRM system that we currently use. It'll take you directly to that client. All the data that we just entered is all saved here. So I don't have to come back to my CRM system and enter or duplicate information that I already gathered in Quotamation at that point. So that's a really neat feature there. And ultimately from here, I as an agent, can go in and close this deal within 20 minutes because of how streamlined this process was for me at that point.
Yeah. So the sky's the limit, and you guys are just getting started. I know we were chatting about this the other day. Massive upside in the future, and you are moving to make sure that this platform is available in many areas. This is just where you started. So that excites me no end, and it's just blew me away. So when I see something like this, I definitely want to get out there and share it with as many as possible. And thank you, gentlemen, for the time today to share this. So anything else on the screen share, Ahmad?
No, go ahead and stop it here. Cyrus, anything else you would like to add here?
Yeah, go ahead and close the screen share, and we'll get back to a combo to help agents.
Yeah, I think a couple more things I wanted to add was, there's really like 2 or 3 different raters that most everybody uses: PL rater, comparative rater, turbo rater. And there's integration work that's going to be with all of them. There's going to be integration with your agency's Zoom. We're talking to Vertifor. We're talking to Hawksoft. We already obviously have a direct integration with EasyLinks. We have a direct integration API from Canopy Connect to connect there, so we could do like a comparison between what they have and what you're selling them. Visualize this a little bit better. So we've got a lot of things that we have got going on for us that we are working on. Now, as everybody knows, tech is, everybody we talk to is like, I wish you could do this, or I wish you could do this. And that's the beautiful part about learning from the agents, because we are agents. So we've solved some of the things. But it's really cool that I've been hanging out and talking to so many different agents and demoing this because they each have different things that they're like, have you thought of this? And have you thought, talk about better together, right? Like that's how we become better together, is like other agents giving us advice. And then we're going to work telling our CTO, Alex, who's got a long insurance tech background, saying, hey, can you do this? Because like I'm learning the tech side and Ahmad's learning the tech side, but I'm definitely on the visionary and agency side, and Ahmad's more on the operations and onboarding and some of that stuff, and then the tech people handle it. So I'm not saying we're in all states by any means. You know, we're opening up states left and right. It's a pretty easy process if you are with the ones that we've already integrated with, but the ones that we are not integrated with, they're super excited, and we're going to definitely get integrated with all of them, hopefully by fourth quarter. So.
Fantastic, exciting stuff. So making lives easier for agents out there in the comparative rating arena is what we're talking about here, starting with personal lines. Who knows what the future holds, commercial lines, the moon, all of that, right? Yeah. But so again, let's jump back to something, and this is the key, because you identified from a vision standpoint, Cyrus and Ahmad, why this is important. Okay. So as the industry continues to change, the consumer has greater and less patient expectations, shall we say. So why is this going to give more power to the independent agent when they have it at their fingertips? Any other thoughts on that? I mean, you talked about it a little bit earlier.
You want to touch base on that, Cyrus?
Yeah, go ahead, Ahmad, if you have something in mind.
Oh, no, ultimately, I think the biggest aspect of this Quotamation is going to be the relationship building with your clients, right? You're not spending hours and hours working on the quoting end. You're just building that rapport, that trust and understanding of who your potential client is, and saving so much time on the quoting end. When you build that relationship, think about the referrals that come from that. When you have somebody that speaks on your behalf, that, hey, he was able to take care of me in a timely manner, and he spent half hour just talking to me, and we were able to get a quote, within 15 minutes. That's the beauty of where I see Quotamation truly making a difference in independent agents' lives.
Yeah, and I will add, I always think like consumer is obviously your number one, your client, but to us, man, like we work, a lot of our joint ventures are the real estate, mortgage, and banks and credit unions. So I consider those people my clients, and maybe like Ahmad's clients are the clients, because I'm not in the day-to-day. I haven't written a policy in 3 or 4 years. So my client more becomes our refer partners. And here's why, because from a client, you can maybe get 1 or 2 referrals, maybe more. From a referral partner, you can get 100 clients, right? So if you want to scale your business, man, why not spend the time and make the referral people's life easier, right? So, I mean, if you think about that piece of it, where like if you can make it this easy for a real estate agent, for a mortgage lender, for a credit union, somebody that can go in, because you could potentially give them your agent login. This could be embedded inside of your website to where they can go in, because you don't really need a license for data entry, right? Like, right. You can't bind this product. An agent still has to call you, confirm things and all of that stuff. But anybody can go online and put information. So as far as how this could definitely 10x your revenue is going to be that the client, the refer partners who are sending you a ton of business, you show them as your tech inside of your agency. That's going to blow away a lot of those refer partners, and you're going to basically build that relationship with them. And that's going to honestly bring you a ton more referrals, because what does a real estate agent want? Quick, ASAP. I want something quick, fast. Like when they call you, like, man, I got to close in 2 days. Like, can you do this? And they're like, that's not enough time most of the times. But now they don't have to do that, right? And you can teach them to basically go do 90% of the work on a daily basis. You can get referrals from a lender, mortgage officer, credit union, or financial advisor, and 90% of the work is done. You just got to fine tune some things, call the client, build 20 minutes of rapport, bind the policy, move on with your life.
That is absolute gold. So imagine this, everybody out there in Unstoppable Nation. You've got 25 of your referral partners who have their own logins via Quotamation, and they're able to find out the number, because, I mean, that's what our lender partners want. They want the number, because they've got to qualify the risk, if you will, with their lender partners to make sure they can make the monthly payments, et cetera, et cetera. And if the insurance is, $1,200 a year versus $600 a year, that can make or break a deal. So if they can do all that work on their own, and I know you guys as entrepreneurs, you've never been there at 10 o'clock at night doing things to get to the next win, have you? So are the lenders. And when you can put that power in their hands so they can do it themselves at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, fantastic. They will win more. And when they win more, who else wins more, right?
Well, think about this. How many times I run into, because we work with a ton, I mean, thousands of mortgage and real estate people. How many times do you get a call on a Saturday? Hey, I'm putting an offer. I just don't know when the roof was replaced, what the insurance would look like. Can you, this is going to save your life, because if you do that for a real estate agent, close a deal for them, and where the consumer's like, I'm really not sure about this house. I don't know what the insurance would be on it. If you can just get that done real quick, you are literally the greatest in front of that real estate person. Talk about trust, talk about relationship, talk about ease of use, and all of that stuff, man. So as far as like building relationships with the right partners for an agency, this technology is truly, truly going to save you a lot of those relationships, and you're going to be ahead of the other person that doesn't have this 100% of the time.
Absolutely. So I love that. And there's so many little things that are kind of running through my mind as far as that page, that last comparison page, if you will, buttons that can be put on there to make it easy for everybody involved. One of them for, lender partners, as an example, I want this, have an agent contact me right away. I mean, little things like that.
Yeah, and honestly, as soon as you do that, there's a task that goes on into our management system right now that it goes assigned to a producer. So within a second, that task is created. That the producer knows. So think about this: you come in the next day at work and you've got 4 leads, 90% done for you. Like, that's the beauty of this technology, because somebody went in, lender, refer partner, whoever went in, plugged that information in. You came to work at 9 o'clock. You go through your test, like, 4 leads, cool. I'm going to call these guys, fine tune some things, close the deal. That's the beauty of this. Is what that is going to do. We talked to somebody yesterday, pretty big agent. He said he has 2,200 mortgage lenders, and he needs a technology that can basically get a home quote really quick within 30 seconds. And then they just want to be able to get a proposal real quick, because they just need it in the file. It's not bound. Their agents call them, do all the buying stuff, because obviously they need to talk to the client, get permission, all that stuff. He goes, I was like, okay. And he goes, Cyrus, we literally have 2,000 deals a month that we do right now. That's through the mortgage brokers, because we're in this association with them. And we just want a proposal real quick. 30 seconds, couple of pieces of information, a home quote. Then our agents call them, ask them questions, verify some things that the carriers want, do a multi-line with the auto and all that stuff. But we want something real quick that pop up that they can just put in their file so they can move on to the next step to where an agent calls them. I was like, we can do that. Like, no problem at all, right?
Yeah. And we're just beginning is the exciting thing. Yeah. I mean, as this continues to evolve, more opportunity, more agility will be built into the system to help agents win more. Just fantastic stuff. So, anything to add, Ahmad?
No, I think Cyrus hit it on the spot. You can kind of see how Cyrus is a big picture guy in our relationship, right? And I'm honed in, trying to make sure the operations, that one client at a time, is taken care of to the best of our abilities in our office and all the entities that we sort of control at that point. So totally agree there.
Yeah, fantastic. I will add, Ahmad, I just can't resist here. And I think Cyrus will probably agree with me. Money and success love speed, and money and success never sleep. So I understand step by step, but we got to keep moving here fast, right, Cyrus?
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, man, for me, I'm not one of those guys that can sit around and kind of just do one thing. And I feel like we are all in this life to make a difference in however way we can, whether 100%. It's our nonprofit, the money that we give to them, whether it's our insurance agencies and the people that we're helping, and insurance agents now, and partners we're talking to across the country, and carrier relationships, and I feel like that kind of is really exciting for us, man, that like we just wake up every day and kind of find, and honestly, when you kind of open your mind to a lot of different things just come to you and stick to you. And when you've got great people that you talk to on a daily basis, like you and Daniel, and obviously Chris Paradiso, and some of these guys that we've been talking to, man, that I've been talking to for a while, I mean, those are the people that open your eyes into a lot of different things. And we all become better from it, right? Because our
Yep.
industry, man, as you know, we're a little bit behind on technology. We're a little bit behind on a lot of these things. And if I can do just a little bit to move the needle for the independent agents, I feel like that's why we're here in our life right now.
100% agree. And taking the tech to the next level on behalf of the consumer, if you will, who's depending on us to protect everything they work so hard for. I mean, there's other verticals out there in the consumer world. There's a huge online retailer that seems to be, well, it's definitely on my credit card statement every month.
Yeah.
Because my wife loves them.
Don't say it. Don't say the name.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, I mean, we want to put that kind of power to help people in people's hands, and you guys are doing it. And I love that about what you guys are doing. Thank you for sharing today. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add that I think one of the biggest issues we ran into as we were developing this last 4 years was, why don't more people shop around, right? Why do more people not think of independent? Why do they always think of State Farm and American Family and Farmers when it comes to it? And we have to spend so much time and energy in telling people about think of independent, right? And it's because they spend so much money, right? Your State Farms, American Families, and all of them. And also that it's very, very hard to get quotes from independent channel. I was a State Farm guy. I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna get a quote from independent agent? Okay, you'll hear back in a couple of days, because we knew what you guys didn't have was just whole thing figured out into one place where somebody can go and plug some things in and get something to the client to beat me. So I always, when I was a State Farm agent, I was saying like, listen, man, like we got this great company, this great brand and all this stuff, right? And I'm going to get this done for you in 30 minutes versus an independent agent cannot do that. How can they know 80 different carriers from the top of their mind? Like, so I use that as fuel back then. And I made them feel like even getting a quote from them would be a chore for those consumers, right? So looking back now, I look back sitting here right now, I'm saying, I got to defeat that thinking that I was thinking back then, because that's what all those captive agents are doing, is saying, don't even shop around. You got to give them your left leg to get a quote. We're saying, we just need your name, date of birth, literally. And we'll do all the work, pull all the data, because as you know, what AI has done in the last, 10 years is made our lives so much easier. So we can pull all these things for the consumer, so they don't have to go to the captive channel and think it's extremely hard to get a quote from independent channel. We want to make it super simple, just like it was at the captive channel, if not better, to give you 20 options.
100%. And for those who are not willing to get on the energy bus, which is what we were talking about earlier, you may get left behind. Will Rogers said, if you just sit there, you're going to get run over and left behind. And with regard to AI, 100%, I heard from a very big authority in the tech world a couple of months ago. He said 10 years from now, there's going to be businesses that have embraced AI and are using it to its highest and best use. And there's businesses that will be out of business. And remember, change is not a 4-letter word. And so we've got to get comfortable with change. Gentlemen, if somebody is as excited as I am about what you guys are building, and thank you. Thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts for doing the work, for having the vision to build this, to help more agents out there. How can they get a hold of you if they want to jump on a demo? Either Ahmad or Cyrus, take it away.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of the demo. I'm kind of our demo guy, because we're just onboarding so many agents. So Ahmad's really kind of busy on the onboarding and making sure the customer experience and all of that. So I would love to give you a demo, man. I would just love your feedback. Honestly, man, reach out to me. Give me all the stuff that we're not doing right, because that gives me things to do right, things to work on. So Cyrus at teamcyrus.com. Pretty easy. CYRUS at team, TEAM, and then Cyrus.com. You could go to Quotamation. There's a thing in there that says join waitlist. We have such a long list that we have still a wait list in there, because we don't want to take too long getting to them. And we're obviously a younger agency, a younger tech company. So we want to make sure we get to you in a prompt time. So what I would say is, yeah, reach out to me through email. Honestly, give me a call. My cell phone, 402-213-9890. Would love to give you a demo, give some feedback from you. And we're all going to become better from it.
100%. And we will all end up on that island if you're willing to take the next steps. Money and success, love speed. Remember, Ahmad, and it never sleeps. So we got to keep that moving. So gentlemen, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing the vision. I can't wait to see what unfolds in the future. And we are grateful for all that you've done so far. We can't wait to walk alongside of you as we evolve into the future. And if there's anybody that's out there in Unstoppable Nation, either watching or listening to this, if you've got feedback, please contact them. They will only get better when you give them input on how they can get better, right?
We don't have it all figured out. We honestly have nothing figured out. We kind of have a vision, but we will. We will.
There's nothing new under the sun. But
Yeah.
as an industry, 30,000 strong, if we collaborate together and help each other, we can all get there.
Absolutely. Mike, I truly appreciate you having us, man. It's been so much fun on this podcast. I'm thankful for you.
No, I'm thankful
Absolutely.
for you. Hey, it's very interesting to me. About 2 months ago, I was sharing with somebody about the handcuff issue with the comparative raters. I said,
Mhm.
I have the ability to, invest in a lot of things. And I said, maybe we just need to invest in that and make it happen. And isn't it crazy when you have a thought sometimes, here it comes down the road. And what happens?
Yeah.
A month and a half later, I get introduced to Cyrus and Ahmad, and here we are.
Great
Everything
minds
for a
think
reason,
alike.
right, gentlemen?
I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is
So-
beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's go figure out the next thing that we can attack to help agents win more and get better every single day. So thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you, Mike.
All right, everybody. If this is your first time on the podcast, welcome. My name is Mike Stromsoe. I'm widely recognized as a leading author, speaker, and coach for the independent insurance agency industry. You can find out more about us at unstoppableprofitproducer.com. If you're interested in learning more through our online training events, go to uppfaststart.com, and you can learn more about our live events at beunstoppablebootcamp.com. Everything that we do is designed to help you grow your business, create wealth, and have more freedom so you can live life on your own terms. All gathered from over 35 years of experience as a 100% of the time independent insurance agent. And we give you everything that we can to help you, again, grow your business, create wealth, and have more freedom. If you haven't subscribed yet to our podcast, please go to unstoppableprofitpodcast.com. Go up to the top, click the subscribe button so you won't miss one valuable episode. I'm sure you got lots of gold nuggets from today's episode like I did. So you don't want to miss one episode. That's what we bring, is growth, opportunity, advancement, and getting better for you every single day. You can find our podcast out there on all the channels as well. Spotify, Stitcher, our YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, and more. But if you are listening to this podcast today, I strongly encourage you to go back to YouTube, search Unstoppable Profit Producer, go to the videos, and you will see the visual of this, because Ahmad did a screen share on how awesome Quotamation is on the video portion of the podcast. So if you're just listening as you're driving or whatever, when you get in front of a computer, go to our YouTube channel, Unstoppable Profit Producer, click the videos, and you will see the visual of this podcast so you can watch the power of what these gentlemen have built. And if you got great value out of today's podcast, please share it with somebody else that you know and care about so they too can learn how to be not only how to grow, but to be more unstoppable and take advantage of the incredible future that's before all of us. Gentlemen, thank you again for joining on the podcast today. I can't wait to watch you guys evolve. You are absolutely unstoppable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike, for having us.
You're welcome. All right, everybody, get out there, make a difference, be unstoppable, leave no regrets. And remember, you've only got 72 hours to take action or it's not going to happen for you. You got this. We believe in you. I'll see you on the next episode.
You love the podcast, but don't know where or how to get started? Come join our next virtual training while seats are still available. Register now at uppfaststart.com. That's uppfaststart.com.